Yeah, because of need to advise people, young entrants who are coming into this industry for survival or subsistence. For now, we can only ask them when they are coming into this industry, they should not come in with the big capacity vehicles because of the price per liter of fuel is going to work against them, and that will discourage them. But if they work with smaller vehicles, it will be easy to strike a balance, even if the take home is very little. But this is an industry, if liberated wisely by the government's intervention, then it is something that can mean a lifeline for the drivers. We should not discourage newcomers to make entry, because again, when they come in, they will be also coming in with ideas to revamp the industry. Maybe they can bring in better approaches that can mean sooner or later we can come out of this situation of poor compensation, poor pricing regimes, and the general bad handling by the application owners. It still can happen. So I must extend this hand that yes, young entrants, come in, but don't come big. Come small and grow. Sooner or later, solutions will come and we are going to live complete lives. Okay, I'm Solomon Oliech. I'm a taxi driver. I'm based in Eastleigh, but with the online business, we spread out, but my base is in Eastleigh. I've been in this industry since 2016, so I'm old enough in this. I have got great experience and exposure, and I believe my contributions will make invaluable meaning to the lives of the Kenyan online cab drivers. I drive a Nissan March that is in the lowest category of the vehicles that we use. It's a 1300cc. It's an average car, comfortable, it's heavy enough, and I hope in the coming year I may be upgrading to a bigger car. Okay, in the growth path and upgrading, I intend to move from a 1300cc vehicle to a 15 or 1800cc. That is I target Excel because of the kind of the way this business is taking shape. The Excel category will be a little more profitable than these other lower ones. So it is my intention that in a matter of a year or less, I may be upgrading to an Excel. When you move from the lower category, the chap and the line, to an Excel, the capacity and the returns per trip for the Excel is more enhanced and more profiting in terms of what you take home as a driver, as opposed to the chap, because the chap is a small utility car with little capacity and space, so you'll be doing very little, and when you look at the fuel factors, you realize you're almost working for the car and the partner. You have barely nothing to take home with you. So I hope that once I graduate from the chap to Excel, I'll be having more elaborate take home than I'm experiencing today. Okay, the challenge is that the drivers generally and averagely experience in the online cab business. One is the unpredictability of the price regimes. You realize that we don't have a common bargaining by the drivers themselves. We don't have a force to counter the price regimes that are set by the operators. So they give us prices to work with. They subject them to discounts which we don't consent to, but we find ourselves working with them. So you realize that at the end of the day, if you look at what the driver goes through, it is all but a punishment to the driver, not a benefit at all. Because apart from the fact that he's seen moving around with the vehicles, that is not the fun. He's struggling just to win a shilling for the family, which often doesn't even work. So the challenge is that if we got a pricing regime that takes cognizance of the fact that the poor driver is the one who is owning the vehicle, who is servicing the vehicle, who is fueling the vehicle, who is doing all manner of these activities, plus even keeping the customers warm in the car, and to cause a repeat visit by those clients, it means the driver is going through a lot of mental stress, because he's struggling between the comfort of the family, the owner of the vehicle itself, and the client. And all these things sits down on the driver, and most of the times we find ourselves collapsing. Others go down because of stress-related issues. So I think averagely, without causing a lot of worries in the minds of those people who are still in the business, is that the current online cab driver is a suffering working human person, especially in the Kenyan business environment. The price fluctuations as regulated by the authority that is charged with that responsibility, I would say that is insignificant. It has no impact at all on the life of a driver, because of the service histories of the vehicles that we use, they are not getting the best because of the compensation that these drivers get. So the most of these vehicles that we are having around are poorly serviced. That means efficiency per liter of petrol is the worst. So even if you dropped it to 100, I would still say that does not cushion the driver of Kenya in the online cab industry to anything. We need it to come down below 100 bob. That we will start thinking that life can be better. But as it stands at 199, it is not impacting on us in any way. So we can only plead with the government, say, to reconsider looking at these massive numbers of people who are really running around the clock and making nothing for themselves, to get, even if there were special packages with the petroleum products dealers, to be able to give them some remission of sort, so that instead of paying maybe at pump prices, if they can be identified, those drivers in the taxi business, to be given special identification pins when they go to the service stations, they can be given at maybe 150, but the government cushions them. That will be sure to say the government is caring. But if you are given a standard pump rate flat as 199, the person who is going on joyride getting the same, and the person who is struggling to make a meal for the family is doing the same, I think not much can be achieved by that margin. The price drop was just too lean to talk about. Okay, to make the industry sustainable in terms of making meaningful earning to the drivers who are in this business, what we can do, what we have tried to do in the past, was to convince even the government to step in to create a regulation on how these platforms, the applications, can charge or create price regimes that are tolerant of the fact that certain other factors are not favoring the drivers. Two, the drivers needed to come up with organizations that represent their voices. And without a voice, you cannot command. So the drivers also suffer one bout of failing to come together and work under one body, or come up with their own application that can talk for them, price for them, and give them a balanced distribution of returns between the driver themselves and the riders. Because at the end of the day, it is comfort that we're talking about. We need to have drivers who are nicely compensated, who can always laugh and engage the riders while they are transiting, as opposed to the situations where we hear your driver was so dull, your driver is having moods, your driver is just too wild, he doesn't want to answer questions. So, these things are factored into the areas where the driver is not compensated, the owner of the vehicle is on his neck, everything else is not working for his favor. So if we got better pricing regime and voices to contest the price regimes that are given by the applications, then the drivers can, within a short time, can improve their lifestyles, because for now, these people are poorly compensated, and it is a matter of concern, and we're wondering why the government is not seeing this and coming to their aid. So the solution is the drivers need, if they will be able to do, to come up with their own application if they can build one. 2, have a voice that will talk for them in terms of pushing the prices that have been set by the application owners to a level which is tolerant of the fact that the situation on the ground is not as good. Yeah, because of need to advise people, young entrants who are coming into this industry for survival or subsistence, for now we can only ask them, when they are coming into this industry, they should not come in with the big capacity vehicles, because of the price per liter of fuel is going to work against them, and that will discourage them. But if they work with smaller vehicles, it will be easy to strike a balance, even if the take home is very little. But this is an industry, if liberated wisely by the government's intervention, then it is something that can mean a lifeline for the drivers. We should not discourage newcomers to make entry, because again, when they come in, they will be also coming in with ideas to revamp the industry. Maybe they can bring in better approaches that can mean sooner or later we can come out of this situation of poor compensation, poor pricing regimes, and the general bad handling by the application owners. It still can happen. So I must extend this hand that, yes, young entrants, come in, but don't come big. Come small and grow. Sooner or later, solutions will come, and we are going to live complete lives. We trust.